So if you've chosen to listen to today's podcast episode, you are probably curious as to what I actually mean with the title of today's episode, which is Grade A clients versus Grade D clients. What do I mean by that? Well, in today's episode, I'm going to share with you an audit that me and my team did, and we continually refine every few months or so, where we broke down what are the actual personality traits, characteristic traits of clients who come to us and really achieve life-changing results and really follow through, from those who over the years didn't quite cut the mustard, didn't follow through, or haven't reached their full potential. Both sets of clients have the same structure when it comes to their plan, their personal plan. They have the same accountability, they have the same education, they have the same peer group, they have the same support. But one of the things that we are obsessed with as a team is how can we get even more life-changing results? Because I know from the bottom of my heart, as do our team, that if someone implements what we ask them to do, and it doesn't mean being perfect, but they are coachable, they're committed, they listen and they implement, they will change. And as my program Built to Last says, they will achieve lasting change. But it used to really, really stress me out and our team. Why is it some people get so far and fall short? And why is it some people follow through? Now, before I break down the traits of the grade D clients, can you take someone from a grade D, C, up to an A and a B? Absolutely. If someone really wants to change in their heart. Okay? They can change. And ultimately, coaches, good coaching services, if they're doing their job properly, can take someone out their comfort zone and upgrade how they think, upgrade what they do, and by default, change how someone sees themselves. And people come to us at different stages of their journey. And some people have challenges when it comes to the skill challenges, which is to do with training, food, not knowing how to eat, what to eat, etc. Then we have some people who struggle more with will, and I'll touch on this in today's episode. And then, of course, even if someone is a high performer, a lot of people who have been stuck or know there is 10, 20% more in the tank, a large part of the challenge is the environment, which is why we're so big on community inside Built to Last. A lot of people, even if they've achieved great success in business, they're very active with their training and they eat pretty well. The reason why they're not where they want to be is they don't have an environment that supports that higher level of standard they're looking for and that new identity they're trying to create. Okay? But I'm going to share with you one by one the personality traits from a grade A client, and then one by one a grade C/D client. And I would say if you want to get the most value from this episode, as I go through each word or trait, put a tick or a cross next to each of them. If you are listening to this and you don't look physically how you want to, you don't have the confidence internally as well as externally that you want to, and you know there is another gear with your mindset, and you know you're not as healthy as you really, really want to be. Because so often, the thing that stops someone from where they are, someone from where they are to where they want to be, is mindset. And mindset is a skill that you need to develop. Myself, I'm still trying to improve all the time. Discipline is a skill you need to develop. But if we are aware of the traits and the characteristic traits of the common characteristic traits of some of the greater transformations you might have seen on my website or on social media, there are common patterns all these guys do, and there are common patterns with how they behave and just the things they do on a day-to-day basis that makes them different. So I'm literally going to read off the actual audit, the last audit that me and my team did, where we literally just chuck different words into the hat of what are the words that come to mind when we're describing our best of our best clients who really achieve fantastic results. Grade A client. So the first one, all of our best clients are ambitious. They're all ambitious, not just in business, but they are all striving to be a genuinely better version of themselves. They don't like standing still. There's always something more they are looking for. It doesn't mean that they don't appreciate what they have, how they look now, but they always know there's more. They're just supremely growth-minded. Ask yourself, are you genuinely hand-on-heart ambitious? Not just with business, but just in life. Are you trying to squeeze as much as possible out of life? Another one from our grade A clients. This is a big one, in fact. I might say this a lot. This is a big one, right? But the clients who look the way they want to physically are emotionally controlled. I've said many times before, you cannot have physical consistency without emotional consistency, because your state drives decisions, and ultimately how you look physically is going to be a byproduct of your decision making. So how emotionally controlled are you? Are you proactive with your decision making, or are you reactive when you're stressed, you're pissed off, you're angry? How emotionally controlled are you? All of our best clients are appreciative, they're grateful, supremely grateful. And you might think, what has this got to do with looking a certain way? When you are genuinely grateful, you generally stress less, and you're generally more appreciative of the fact that you can train. You have got freedom of choice with food. You have got freedom of choice with movement. And a lot of people just blame life and blame other people and are not grateful for the things they can do and maybe the support they have. But how grateful actually are you with your life, your health, your body right now? The next one is they're self-sufficient. So of course we provide the plan, we provide the accountability, we take away any bandwidth with their decision making when it comes to training, food, lifestyle management, etc. But our best clients are self-sufficient. Once we've got them set up with a plan, we've got them, we've got the inputs needed for them to, move forward on a week-to-week basis. They're self-sufficient. They don't need babysitting too much. They speak up when they get stuck quickly. They don't dwell, but they're very self-sufficient individuals. And if anything, sometimes we have to proactively say to them, what's your biggest challenge this week, or where could you be better? We'll ask them deeper questions, because we know even if someone is self-sufficient, there's always somewhere and something they can do to improve. They're self-aware, very self-aware of their behavior, how they see themselves, very self-aware of how they feel, very self-aware of what's going well, what's not going well. Maybe ties in a little bit with personal responsibility as well. They're authentic. They're authentic. There's no fluff, there's no bullshit. What you see is what you get. They're authentic with who they are and who they're trying to become. Organised. Now, we have some absolute monsters inside Built to Last who are incredibly organised, and we have some that aren't organised. Now, look, I'm always a work in progress when it comes to organisation. There's some things I feel very organised with, some not so much. But generally speaking, if someone is consistent with their training and food and movement, basically all the metrics that improve someone's health and body, it's because they're organised with these things. probably jumping the gun with some of these things with our grade A clients, but all of these inputs, the training, the food, the movement, are often planned in their calendar. They don't rely on chance to get things done, but they're organized. They're accountable. They're accountable not just to us as our coaching team, but they're accountable to themselves. They take responsibility for their health, because even with the best plan in the world, with the best guidance, the best education, you still need to keep yourself accountable to actually follow through on these things. And our best clients are extremely accountable. They check in regularly. They don't cut corners with check-ins. They will evaluate their body shape, not just with ourselves, but with themselves. How accountable are you? Are you accountable with your health and your body? Yes or no? They're driven. I really, really believe that it is impossible to really get in your best possible shape if you're not driven. Because a lot of people are driven maybe for the first 4 to 8 weeks, especially when they're working with a coach. They've just spent money, they're in pain. But if I look at what our best clients have from clients who have fell short, it's a different level of drive. It's a different level of drive and a determination to be better. They're not egotistical. Yes, of course, they have confidence, inner confidence, especially the more they improve their physique with us and the more control and certainty they have when it comes to their health and lifestyle management. But they're not egotistical. They're not just doing it for themselves. They're doing it for the benefit of those they love and the people that need them healthy, strong, fit, and confident. Simply put, the people that need them in their life at their best. They're getting in peak shape and strong and optimizing energy for everything and every one that needs those things. They're doers. They have great energy, and they're straight talking. And as I've just touched on with confidence is created by following through on what you said you would do and keeping your promises to yourself. And when you condition that cycle where you keep your promises and you implement your actions needed, you naturally condition yourself as a doer. And all of our clients that have picked up those Built to Last Hall of Famer awards are doers. They're not just talkers. They won't just talk the talk. I think every single client who's ever invested in me has said, I'm going to be your best client. One of the questions I always ask is, what's going to make you a great client? I'll implement. Tell me what to do and I'll do it. A large percentage do. There's a small percentage that don't. And unfortunately, I'd love to say otherwise, but you're never going to get to where you want to be physically if you are a talker and not a doer. Great energy as well. I think when someone has great energy, it's a clear indication that person is emotionally controlled. They are assured within themselves, and they are regularly implementing habits that create great energy. Some people have naturally great energy, but I can really tell when someone has an aura and looks the part and, has a body that demonstrates they're disciplined, because they'll just naturally have an energy and a vibrancy that rubs off. Straight talking, transparent, probably ties in together. Our best clients, and I have said this on previous podcasts, best clients, grade A clients, are straight talking. There's no fluff, there's no bullshit. They ask clear questions when they want something or want to know something, and they are really honest with themselves if they've ever fell short with their training, their food, their movement, or they didn't do the things to meet their expectations. They tell themselves the truth. And I think that is a phenomenal characteristic trait to have, is to tell yourself the truth and don't sugarcoat what you're actually asking for if you're stuck with a certain problem or question. They love training. And this is one of the major things we've seen in a lot of clients who really see it through with their physical transformation. They actually love the behavior of training. Now, I love training, as do our top clients. As I've just said, am I motivated to train all the time? No. Do I love every session? No. But law of averages across a calendar year, I love training, as do our best clients. It's a mental medicine for many of them. And I really believe that it's a fucking hard slog with any transformation journey if someone literally dreads training. Literally dreads training. Like, it's going to be a very, very hard, painful journey if you can't establish the habit of training and then optimize the performance within that training and simply make it a part of your day-to-day lifestyle and routine and calendar, so that training is something that is just literally scheduled in. And over time, even if you don't start with a true love of training, but you develop it bit by bit, because otherwise you're going to be relying on motivation to train and it just doesn't last. This ties in with loving training, but they enjoy exercise. I think one of the reasons that our best clients enjoy exercise isn't just because of how it makes them look, but it's the stacked emotional value that exercise brings to themselves, to the performance of them within their business, the mood it gives them for their family. I'm yet to coach anyone who doesn't feel great after exercising and isn't happy within themselves for the people they love in their personal relationships. Our best clients enjoy exercise and just get it done. They realize training serves them. It just ties in with what I've just said. But I think one of the reasons people fall short with the consistency is they associate training as a bit of an inconvenience. Shit, I've got to find time to train. It's hard work, it's pain, it might be cost to the gym, might be cost to a coach who's programmed a certain workout. Instead of looking at what it costs you and how much it might hurt or how much time it might take up, think of the value and the benefits to your life that training brings. Would you agree that if when you're training, you exercise, you have more energy? When you have more energy, you do more business. You generally sell with more conviction. You lead with more authority. You get more done from a productivity standpoint, and you are able to influence on a much better level. I'm fortunate enough to coach many people with great energy, great businesses who've made a lot of money. If I look at the top high performers of who I coach, they're all in shape. They pay just as much attention to their own personal asset, which is their body and their energy and their confidence, as they do to their clients and their team. Many have played sport in the past, and this is why I really, really think it's absolutely essential that if you're a parent, not only should you be making sure that your children are educated, but I would really encourage you to push them into sports from a young age and try multiple different sports, because obviously I come from a football background, now evolved into lifting and other aspects of fitness. But the people we've coached who've done sport are significantly mentally stronger. They have more discipline. They naturally want to train a little bit more. And if you listen to this and you didn't come from that world, it's never too late to change. Because even though we've noticed a common trend of our better clients who've generally come from a sport background, we still have had, a lot of clients who didn't start off with life that way because of maybe their parents' influence, maybe it was heavily educated, where sport wasn't a thing their parents did, but they have hardwired that now into their identity. And as a result of that, they now look the part and feel the part and are just as happy with themselves and their body as they are with their business and their career aspirations. Because on the flip side, as I'll come on to in a second, so many people have also worked with us where they've got a great business, might have a lot of money, might have a good family on the front end, but when you've stripped that person down in a one-to-one conversation, they feel like shit. They're unhappy with their weight. That they're not really happy with the body and the confidence they bring, even in the bedroom. You know, they're embarrassed to take their top off on beaches and in the bedroom, right? So if you didn't start off in life where sport wasn't sort of pushed into you by your parents, then it's never too late to change. And if you didn't have parents who pushed, or at least gave you the opportunity to do sports, or didn't look at it as a waste of time, then I really make sure that you break the pattern. I would really advise that you break the pattern for your children, because I think it teaches you so much. It teaches you so much about your mindset, your resilience, communication skills, your ability to deal with failure, because it's inevitable on a transformation journey in business and in personal relationships. At some point, life isn't going to go your way. Life gets fucking hard sometimes, where you don't get the outcome you want, whether it's with business, body, relationships. But if you've got that resilience as a result of dealing with certain failures through sport, which your children would definitely pick up over a period of years into their adult life, it is so, so powerful. Okay. Last couple with grade A clients is, I'd say they're more genuine leaders. And look, leadership is a skill that has to be developed. Some people maybe are naturally born leaders and love taking responsibility, love making people better, love performing at their best, help other people perform at their best. But it's no coincidence that our best clients love helping influence other people. They do the journey not just for themselves, but they love sharing habits, mindset, training tips. They love just demonstrating their influence and not just telling people. They just love making people feel better. And I think if you can really try and influence those you love and those in your life that you'd really love to be healthy by how you demonstrate consistency yourself with your own health and fitness journey, I really believe you will naturally want to keep doing it even more and stay on it and stay consistent if you know that how you eat, how you train, how you move is making the people around you better, healthier, stronger, and more confident. Because then you're doing it for a bigger purpose than just yourself. And there might be an element of status in that too. Who cares? But when you know that by being a healthy person, a strong person, a confident person, is helping people, maybe your friends, your partner, your team, your clients, then it's such a powerful thing. The last one that we broke down when it comes to grade A clients, they're pre-planners. It ties in with organization. They forward plan. They are significantly more efficient and they anticipate curveballs a lot more than the opposite. They pre-plan every week. When am I training? When am I eating? What am I eating? Who am I eating with? When am I moving? What time do I go to bed? So they create predictability with the physical shape that they want to live with. Okay? They pre-plan. They're not reactive. None of them are perfect, but over a 52-week period, and I keep coming back to this because you might be someone listening to this who has felt good about themselves for 4, 8, 12 weeks, but I'm sure if you listen to this podcast and you followed my material for an extended period of time, you don't want to just feel good for 4, 8, and 12 weeks. If you are like or want to be like our best clients who are in shape for 12 months of the year, every year, then these are the traits that are needed. And being forward planning and pre-planning is far more likely to make that happen. Now on the flip side, and this might trigger certain people, might trigger certain clients who are currently with us, so what? If this triggers you and it bothers you, it's usually a cue that it's an area that you need to work on. And again, full transparency, and there's been podcasts where I've spoke openly about this. I'm not perfect. I've been lazy in my life, where during my plumbing years, when I was despondent after getting let go by Coventry as a footballer, I was still ripped, but I was incredibly lazy professionally. I'd lost purpose, lost direction. My environment wasn't empowering. It led to poor behaviours. So there's no judgment on this, but I'm just stating now in black and white the traits of clients that talked the talk but didn't follow through. Basically, might have paid the money but just didn't cut the mustard. Have coasted. Have fell short of their expectations. Aren't as healthy as they said they want to be. Don't have the body that they said they want. And I believe a lot of these traits that I'm going to share with you, I believe that a lot of people who just surrender to these traits, at some point, it's drastically going to cost them in later life. Because no one gets off this scot-free. Even with the best will in the world, if you're consistent and you have the traits that I've just shared with our grade A clients have, at some point you're going to get a health scare. There are some things we can't control, some things we can control. But I really believe putting the work in, you can build a stronger mindset and greater discipline in pursuit of your health goals. So what have we noticed with grade C/D clients? They train because they have to. They train because they have to. Now, if that's enough motivation for you, if that resonates with you, and you train because you have to and you keep doing it, guess what? That's all good. It doesn't matter. As long as you're doing it, that's all that matters. But if you are training because you have to, and you really, really can't be bothered to do it, for me, you haven't broken down deep enough the deeper meaning and the emotional benefits to your life and those you love of the behavior of training. You haven't stacked enough value. And you'll be forever relying on willpower or someone telling you to train to get something done. They're soft mentally, not hardened, quitters, right? This sounds fucking brutal, but it is what it is. They're not resilient, emotionally reactive, disorganized. So if you were putting a tick or a cross next to those words, and I'll repeat them in a second, is this you? Are you soft mentally? Do you fold when the going gets tough? When you have an injury or a niggle, or someone throws you off plan, or someone says something to you that you didn't like? Are you not hardened? Do you quit? Are you not resilient? Do you give up? Are you emotionally reactive? If this hurts when you answer those questions, what are you willing to do to change it? Because you are never ever going to see a transformation through if you surrender to those traits. What else have we noticed? A disorganized. I've said this on previous podcasts. People who have took longer to transform or who didn't quite cut the mustard, their calendar is generally filled up with work, social, and a focus on other people's agendas. They would happily stack up time for clients and other people's needs and generally just chasing solely money at the expense of a few workouts a week for themselves, or at least some respect to when and where they're going to move and when and what they're going to eat. Their health is an afterthought. Simply put, they don't value it enough. And unfortunately, no matter how hard you fight it, if you don't value health, you're never going to implement the behaviors that create a healthy body. What else we got here? It's simply not a high priority. They neglect their health, lazy physically, all talk, short-sighted. Even with the best plan in the world, unfortunately, no one's going to move your legs for you. No one's going to pick the weights up for you. And no one is going to consciously decide to eat the healthy food and put that in your mouth or go to bed at a reasonable hour if you're not where you want to be. They're short-sighted. I've said this on many public speaking talks that I've been fortunate enough to do. Our worst clients, or maybe even people that I feel consistently fail, they're short-sighted. They go after the quick win too much, and then when they get that, they think that they think they've made it. They look at short-term instead of long-term. And if this resonates with you, how many times have you dropped fat quickly and then it's poured straight back on? For me, if this resonates with you and that hits a nerve, it's because you haven't stretched a long enough vision of how you actually want to live, not just in the next month, but how do you want to live and how do you want to look over the next 5-10 years, or even the next year, okay? If you've never been in shape for one calendar year, one of the reasons for that is you were too short-sighted with your goals, and you're probably only training for short-term occasions, e.g. a holiday, a wedding, or just short-term milestones, and they don't last. And another thing we notice is, and this comes down to a value on health, I suppose, our worst clients over the years is they do not understand or truly respect the consequences that poor health brings on their life. And unfortunately for these people, they're going to have to wait for an emotional trauma, a physical trauma, maybe a financial trauma. Simply put, they lose something or someone, or they have a health scare themselves to truly follow through on the things they need to do. And even then, for some people, it won't be enough. And look, I'm speaking from the heart here as someone who, number one, value is health, and I don't want to force my values on anyone. But it doesn't matter how big your bank balance is, how many cars you have, how many clothes you can buy, what you can do. If you're not healthy, at some point, not being healthy, not having the energy you want, is going to cost you or someone you love or something you want to do. What else do we notice? This is maybe more from the way our plan is structured. And this is why we're so ruthless on noticing these things and having stats and data on everything with all of our clients. They go missing in our coaching app. So we have a coaching app which houses a client's plan, where they have a daily checklist with their training, their food, their movement, their habits, basically the inputs that's going to create the body that they've signed up to achieve. Our best clients implement those things, and we can see when they've signed into the app. Our worst clients over the years have gone missing, and this is where we try and flag that within 24 hours, make sure they're implementing, because it's impossible to implement the workout that we've set them or stick to the food targets we've set them if they're not implementing and ticking off the things within the coaching app. And the last couple here we found is they don't engage with the community. Now, even if you listen to this and you have no aspirations of signing up to my services, one of the problems of not having a community or a peer group in relation to your goals is your behaviors, your food choices, your training, and the way you manage your lifestyle is generally only going to go as far as the environment that and the people you spend time with. Nothing influences your habits and behavior more than the people you're connected to or the people you have access to. So what we've noticed with our best clients, even if they're extremely busy, they'll still dip their toe in our community, where we have a virtual Facebook group, and or they will show up to the events that we put on in person. Because one of the reasons so many people have failed, and what I mean by failed is if someone doesn't look the way they want to, or they've struggled for a number of years with their health and fitness, it's because they are generally surrounding themselves with people who don't value health to the level that that person does. Nothing influences your habits more, especially when it comes to food. So you are going to conform to the habits and behavior of the people you spend time with, whether you like it or not. There's only so long you can fight that. Unless you are literally coming from an athletic sport background, professional sport background, maybe even a military background where health, fitness, and eating healthy food is hardwired into your identity, that is who you are, what you do, and how you see yourself. For me, unless you are that person, you are going to conform to the standards and behaviors of the people that you spend time with. So that is why we are massive and pour so much money into our community to make sure that the common identity and sense of belonging, the mentality within that community is one of consistency with training, food, movement, etc. Okay, so I really encourage you that if you are going in yo-yos with your body shape and weight, and you're literally maybe late 30s, 40s, 50s, and you're not where you want to be, I strongly urge you to find a community, or at least a few people who are healthy, strong, consistent, because they're going to rub off on you. The last couple we have, our grade C, D clients, they find excuses, they make excuses, they bullshit themselves. And I'm yet to coach anyone who has a great body, who is healthy and truly confident within themselves, who makes excuses. It's just impossible. It's impossible. You simply can't reach your potential if you're making excuses. It just doesn't add up. And on the flip side, to the grade A clients, the clients who struggle most with us are unprepared. Now, granted, a lot of people have kicked off their journey because they're coming to us to help guide them on how to become more prepared and more organized. And we've got trainings, we've got accountability, we've got guidance, we've got the structure of the app, etc., etc. Right? And some people, it just takes a little bit longer. I get that. But over a period of 3, 4, 5, 6 months, if someone isn't making serious headway with how they look, how they feel, and their habits, it's usually because they are unprepared. They are reactive and they're relying on hope. And I'm yet to see or help build a body with any client who's invested in us who relies solely on hope. At some point, you just have to do the fucking work. You have to do the work. What's going to help you do the work with more consistency is being prepared, having a plan, scheduling when you're going to train, when you're going to move, and what you're going to eat, and fucking following through on it. It's as simple as that. So if you have listened to today's podcast episode, and from those grade C/D traits, there are far too many ticks where you're saying, that's me, or maybe that's you, too many months across a calendar year, and it bothers you, and when you look yourself in the mirror, you don't like how you look, and it's negatively impacting your life, what are you going to do to change it? Because you can change your behavior, you can change your discipline, but it needs to be worked on. And it takes time. It takes time. But what builds confidence is doing. What builds confidence is establishing a habit and then optimizing it, small steps, day by day. And I just want to end by sort of summing up really what I've gone through today. If you're trying to be the best version of yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, if you're trying to really be the best of who you are, if you're really trying to become the best version of yourself, don't just ask how, think, who do I have to become? And hopefully today's podcast episode has broken down the key characteristic traits and personality traits of the inputs that are going to help you become the person and build the body you want, long term and not just short term. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time.